Shine with Kendéll Lenice. Real talk for real people. Let's shine together.
Welcome to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. I am your host, transformational life coach, Kendéll Lenice. I'm also an author, a content creator, a speaker, a healing coach, a certified meditation practitioner, and a lover of people. I want to see you win, and that's what this podcast is about. It's a life podcast. You'll get some live life coaching, you'll get some amazing guests, and most importantly, you'll heal and laugh. It's all about education, elevation, and entertainment. I don't know how you stumbled upon this podcast, but I'm so glad you did. If you haven't already, please subscribe and rate if you can. We are available on all podcast outlets. Also, follow me on social media at Kendéll Lenice across the board. Now on to this week's show. Season 9 of Shine with Kendéll Lenice is sponsored by Your Unhealed is Showing, Healing Purposely and Aging Fearlessly. This is the new book by Kendéll Lenice. Make sure you go to Amazon.com and get 2 copies, one for you and one for a friend. Nothing better than giving the gift of healing to yourself and someone you love. While you're over at Amazon, don't forget to leave a review on this book. It's so important. All right, that's it. That's all. Welcome to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. God bless y'all. Hey, everybody. It is a brand new year. Welcome to 2023, y'all. Let's just think about that for a moment. 2023. Remember back in the day where 2023 seemed so far away? We thought we had so much time to do so many amazing things. We still have a lot of time. But back in the day when we thought about the Jetsons and people would say, we will be flying in the air, our cars will be up in the air, and we will be, we do have cars that drive themselves. We do have vacuums that move themselves. So I guess they were a little on to something. I haven't seen a car in the sky yet, but hold tight. We probably, we may see something like that, as innovative as people are. Happy New Year. I'm so thankful and grateful that you made it to a brand new year. 1 million didn't make it, but we were the ones who did. One of the ones who did. If you think about that song from the Winings, that's a beautiful song. And so many people, and my prayers to Anita Pointer of the Pointer Sisters, who passed away on New Year's Eve. And I heard that a lot of people passed away up and down my timeline on New Year's Eve. So I just want to pray for those that didn't make it over to this brand new year. We're thinking about you, and our prayers are with the families who lost someone. With every new year, people always say some little catchy phrase, and new year, new me, new chapter, better me than the old me, and all of this stuff. And all of that stuff is good, whatever pushes the needle forward. But I don't want to make resolutions. I don't want to think about catchy sayings. In this conversation with my guest, who I'll introduce momentarily, I want to have a real conversation about praying, proclaiming, manifesting, and expecting. But as always, before we get started, I want to start with this week's Life Note. All right, it's time for this week's Life Note. All right, so if you're just tuning in to Shine with Kendéll Lenice for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I start every episode off with a life note. What is a life note? It's a quote or a saying that'll carry you through the topic of this conversation, through the next week, or through your life. It's something that will hold true, hopefully, to you, and that you can always revert and refer back to. So this one is by Oswald Chambers. Don't know who he is, but it says, live in a constant state of expectancy and leave room for God to come in as he decides. Now, when I saw that quote, I'm going to read it again. Live in a constant state of expectancy and leave room for God to come in as he decides. Him planning the steps. We do the work. We are there to make sure we do our part. But whose part we can't do is God's. So let's talk about praying, proclaiming, manifesting, and expecting. All the ings of 2023. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest for this first episode. Oh, did I say? That is the 9th season of Shine with Kendéll Lenice. The crowd roars. I'm so grateful and thank you and thankful. And thank you to all my loyal listeners all across this globe. I'm so honored that you decide to listen to this podcast. As soon as it goes up, you guys are on it. So I appreciate you immensely. And all my new listeners, thank you so much. I treasure you the same. So please follow the podcast, subscribe. If you can comment, share it, do all of that stuff. All right. So I wanted to bring in my guest. We did a couple of things before the year was out. This group of beautiful people. On my YouTube channel, we began to talk about what we were releasing in 2022 and what we were embracing in 2023. And then, technical difficulties there. So then we went over to Instagram and had a vibrant conversation, a deep, a personal, a vulnerable conversation. And those are the kind of conversations that I love to have. So we're going to have more of that right now as I introduce my guest, starting with my brother, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr.
What's up, lady? What's going on? Happy 2023 to you and everybody else. It's a great way to start off 2023 with getting the mind right. Getting your mind right and being in the right mindset to be able to go into 2023. So I'm happy to be here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Getting your mind right for 2023. That right there is a whole word in itself. Getting your mind right. Wow. And now I want to introduce boss lady herself, Miss Chantel Price. She is a business strategist. And most importantly, she's a woman that lives and is going through and manifesting her destiny as a boss, as a mother, as a woman. Chantel Price.
Hello. Happy New Year and congrats on 9 seasons. I didn't know it was this long.
Wow.
I'm very proud of you and happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here is Miss Smiley herself bringing the joy, just like Leroy is bringing the impact as an impact builder. This lady is bringing the joy as the joy inspirer. I have the pleasure to introduce Miss Ahisha Kalima.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. And without further ado, Michael Horton, I think he said the third business owner and Home Alone, at Home Alone right now. I hope y'all know where he lives. I'm sorry, y'all. But Michael, putting all your business in the street. That's an inside joke from where we just, before we went on air.
It's cool. I love the laugh. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Norton III, entrepreneur here in the Baltimore region. And I want to start off with thanking Dr. Leroy McKenzie. We haven't even known each other for a month. And he just did an article on me, and I sent it out to a couple of family members and friends, man. And I want to thank him for what he did and believing in me and, coaching me every day. So, I'm ready to enjoy the evening.
I love that. And we're going to get started. We're going to have some real conversation. Anybody that listens knows that we're about to have some real conversation. But I have a surprise. So you guys are the first guests of the 9th season. But the 9th season, each year I try to switch it up a bit with my podcast. But I'm so excited because I got a surprise for you. You guys know my book just came out. But guess what I'm going to focus on this whole 9th season? Y'all want to know? Y'all want to know?
What's that?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Y'all want to know listening? All right. Let's just get right into it quick, so we can get on to the show. Welcome to season 9 of Shine with Kendéll Lenice. This season is sponsored by, Your Unhealed is Showing, Healing Purposely and Aging Fearlessly. That is my new book. Healing is never going to go out of style. And I know sometimes you think it's people's personalities, but it's their unhealed that's showing. And sometimes the unhealed that's showing is yours. So this season, we are going to talk about healing in all kind of ways. That's going to be the focus of season 9. We are going to kick off a New Year's show, but then we're going to go into different types of healing, because healing is just not one thing. When we're talking about emotional healing, physical healing, healing families, healing relationship, healing friendships. There's so much childhood trauma. We are going to talk about healing in season 9. So do yourself a favor and get a copy of my book. It's available on Amazon.com or KendellLenice.com. Your Unhealed is Showing, Healing Purposely and Aging Fearlessly. Get into that. Hey, y'all, that's what we're going to be focusing on this season, healing. So just imagine a whole season of talking about healing. It's so important. What do y'all think about that? Let's get right into it.
So I'll kick it off first. Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's me, Mike Norton, the entrepreneur speaking. I want to talk about healing. It's so important to forgive and forget for a lot of reasons. Right now, if you set goals for yourself in your life, your business world, you don't have time to look back, and you cannot cry over spilled milk. My theory is, you know what? I'm going to hold my head up high, and I'm going to move forward. I'm going to pray daily. I'm going to have meditation, and I'm going to put a smile on my face. And whatever happened to me, my goal to myself is to never let it happen again. And I'm not going to let it affect nothing around me. At a 42, I've come a long way, and I still got a lot to do. And I know I've kicked the year off on a good note. I'm well rested. I got a lot of things off my mind. But most importantly, I have a strong supporting staff around me, And I guess with positive people around me and like-minded people around me, that's how I keep the negative away. So whatever's happened to me, you know what? I told myself I forgive and I forget everybody. But you know what? I have to move on. And it takes a strong mind to do that. So I know I'm all over the place with it, but again, for me, having a strong mental and keeping positive people around me, and even taking what I normally do during my day, I have the Calm app on my phone. I take 30 minutes out of my day to listen to the rain or smooth jazz or whatever to take my mind so it won't wander, because I'm behind the wheel every day. I'm dealing with product, I'm dealing with money, I'm dealing with invoices, and I'm in a lucrative cash business. So at any time, I got to be on my P's and Q's at all the time. And, the one thing that I had to get rid of is, do not let my mind and my feelings get the better of me, because if it gets the better of me, I can't go be a better me. I can't be a better business owner. And then my energy is off with the customers. I notice in the morning with prayer or devotion, however you want to call it, and a workout, and I play a little bit of music on my Alexa, my day pretty much goes pretty good. By 5 o'clock, when I talk to my dad, who's my business partner, he goes, how did everything go today? And I'm always like, you know what? It went great. I can hit a bump in the road and I can solve it quickly.
Yeah.
But when my mind is all over the when my mind is all over the place, I can't be very productive.
Yeah.
So focus, prayer. I encourage everyone to get the Calm app. I went down to Florida over the summer, and I got up. I'm an early morning person. I got up 4:30 every morning for a workout. And before my workout, I would take a lawn chair and go to the beach and listen to the ocean, man, and pray.
Yeah, and I want to
cry out in the morning.
And I want to talk about that. And thank you for sharing that. And those are the type of things that we're going to be talking about this month when it comes to healing. Today, I want to focus on what's happening and what we're proclaiming and praying and manifesting and expecting in 2023. But what you're talking about, Michael, those are the type of shows that I'm going to have this season. We're going to have a show on emotions and feelings and emotional intelligence and childhood trauma and friendship and relationship trauma, deaths, how they affect us. I mean, we're going to be talking, we're going to be going deep. I've done shows on emotional abuse and gaslighting and different things like that already. So you guys can check that out, but it's going to be more of that. So many amazing shows coming. So thank you for sharing that. I want to go to Chantel, and these are the questions. This is what I want to ask everybody. I want everybody, if you could go down the list, I'm going to call on you to give me 4 of your I wills for 2023. Like, this is Chantel, I will. You could say, be more conscious of my health. I will, whatever. So I'm going to start with you, Chantel. If you can give me your 4 I wills, and then I'm going to go to the next person.
All right, this is Chantel. Everyone calls me Chantel Price, the boss. I want to say I will stop playing with my potential. I will start to say no because yes is expensive. I will be conscious of my health, and that's mentally and physically. I will love on myself a lot more and know that anybody in my space needs to be deserving.
I love that. Leroy, what about you? I love that, Chantel. That's a great list. What are your 4 I wills? Ahisha, what are your 4 I wills? I'm not sure if Leroy can hear me.
So my first one is, and I started off, I always laugh when I do something that's rhyming as far as, New Year's, because I'm not a resolution person either, I just, believe in starting a new year fresh and free. So, just to keep with the mantra, I will be free in 2023. And that right there sums up almost everything of what I will, because the things that I will be free of fear of failure. I will be free of procrastination. I will be free of judgment. Those are the things that I really want to focus on this year. Last year, I implemented a lot of things that I learned to see if they work. We could talk a good game. We could say, oh, if this happens, I'm going to do this. And if that happens, I'm going to do this. But when the universe brings those things to you and that contrast comes, are you able to stand on what you say you believe in? And can you put it to the test? So I will continue to put the things that I'm learning to the test.
I love that. Leroy is
speaking truth.
I love that. Leroy, you still there? I'm not sure. Okay, Michael, what are your 4 I wills?
I will stay focused. I will be more understanding. I will transfer from an entrepreneur to a boss. And I will keep more of an open mind.
I love that. And I'll even share mine. So I will be more present when it comes to interactions, in person or wherever, what have you. Not having my phone, being more present and intentional about the environment that I'm in at that time. I will be more intentional about everything and everyone. Number 3, I will walk fully in my purpose. Number 4, I will not allow stress or anxiety to win in my life. And then here's a bonus. I will continue to worship, praise, honor, and thank God for everything, and anything that happens and that he brings in 2023. Leroy, what are your 4 wills?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I will create more value in my brand and myself. I will read 35 books. I will make those I encounter better by the end of 2023 than they were at the beginning of 2023.
Love that.
And then my last one is I will treat others better.
I love that. I love everybody's list. We can take from each other's list and we can implement, we know, more than 4 things on that list. I think it's so important to really speak it, and that's proclaiming it, that's manifesting it, and that's praying what we will do, not what I want to do, what I might do, what I'm going to try to do. It's purposeful. I will do. And I hear some background in somebody's phone. But so when we're talking about, we talked a little bit about this, but, you know, I was saying on the show that we were doing, if you hadn't listened to that we can learn from everyone, even if we don't like the person or not a supporter of the person or don't care for the person or just, you know, it's just a person that we may not follow or subscribe to. And with that being said, and this is no diss to everybody out there who loves Steve Harvey, you know, I can still listen to Steve Harvey and say, you know what, he is on to something right there and he has a point. And there was something going around saying, he said, list your 300 prayers or goals or what you want God to do. It was something like that. And people were like, 300 things. That's a lot. And what you don't have to do and what you got to understand is you don't have to do 300 in one sitting. But I said, you know what, Steve Harvey, you are on to something. I'm going to take that challenge and I'm going to do that today. Chantel, when you think about 300 things, and I know you said that you heard that as well, and so did Leroy. But when you talk about 300 things, like what would be 300? What would be 3 of the 300 goals that you would set for yourself to proclaim and to manifest for this year?
This is Chantel. The biggest goal I have for this year, and I've been preparing for this, is this is my biggest goal. My health is a big thing. My next thing is taking 60 people, and I'm working on this, taking 60 people to 6 figures. That's a major goal for me. I feel like we have so much information. Information is nothing without being shared. So I just feel like that has been my thing that I'm going to do this year. 60 people, 6 figures. And 6 figures is an easy number if you think about it. That's a couple thousand a month. That's a couple hundred a day. And we all have gifts. We just don't know where to start. So that's one of my goals, 60 people, 6 figures. My health is definitely a goal. And I don't want to be stagnant. I want to make sure I'm elevating at a conscious pace, but I also want to make sure I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor too. I think we consume so much work, and then I'm 35 years old. I don't want to be 50 and 60 just going on vacation. How fun is that? I'm tired. I'm tired. I would be tired the whole trip most of the time. No, I want to actually enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Honey, let me just say, I'm 51, and we ain't tired going on no trip. That's not old, boo. But I get you.
I can't party 2 days in a row. I just told you that. New Year's, I partied till 5 o'clock in the morning. I had to take a day yesterday. That was not good.
Hey, Kendéll. How old did you say you were, Ahisha?
35. No, that was Chantel.
You still got some time to learn that the 5 o'clock in the mornings, they don't. They don't.
Rest will be your friend. Rest will be your friend. And I need to be the 61st person that you bring to six figures. I'm just saying.
No, I'm with it because there's so much stuff that we can do. But my goal for this year is helping people get. That's what I do as a business strategist.
Mm-hmm.
I just help people. Everybody has an idea. Everybody in the world. It's just they don't know how to execute it, or they have that fear of the unknowing. And I just want to tell people, don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of regret.
Yeah, I love that.
A lot of people that's not as talented as you, but guess what? They're successful.
Yeah.
Because they're not afraid to fail.
Yep, that's a word.
It's everything. That separates people from being a star and a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Stars have talent, but superstars have talent and personality.
Mm-hmm. And skill. Yep.
And skill.
Yep.
They have that grit.
Yep. And that's one thing that you can't purchase, you can't buy, you can't give somebody grit, oomph, you can't give somebody tenacity. Like, those are things that are in you. Like, you can't give someone or teach that. And that's what the difference is between some of the ones who are, like you said, the superstar in whatever field you're in, and just the person who does that job. There is a difference in every arena. That person that has that oomph. Like I always say, you just can't give somebody oomph. Like, you can teach, you can train, you could be the best trainer on earth, but you can't give someone something that's not in them. You can cultivate what's there and teach them different things, but I totally agree with you. Leroy, your boy Steve Harvey. Your boy Steve Harvey. Me and Leroy have a Steve Harvey conversation all the time. What do you think about that list that Steve Harvey talked about? I think it's excellent. What do you think? Because we always talk about we don't follow Steve Harvey, some of the stuff. But like I say, you can learn from everybody and take a little bit from everybody. So what you think about the 300 things? You think that's something easy to do?
Do I think there's something what?
Like easy to do? Do you think that's easy to write down 300 things?
It's not easy, and that's the intent of it. It's not meant to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it were easy, then everybody would be doing it. And that's what separates the good, the great from the good,
mm-hmm.
the good from the great. And you all were just talking about those things. And Ahisha, here's the thing about folks who it's to get to six figures.
Chantel.
Folks don't
mm-hmm.
understand. Oh, Chantel, I'm sorry. Folks don't understand the effort that it will take to just get to six figures. And here's the thing. Kobe Bryant, and I finished one of the books that I read last year was The Mamba Mentality by
mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant, that Kobe Bryant wrote. And one of his goals, since he was in high school, was to be the greatest was considered one of the greatest basketball players ever. He understood that it was going to take a certain amount of effort in order to be able to be great. That meant he couldn't do what everybody else was doing. That's just the average of what everybody else was doing was average. And I'm talking about to get to the NBA level. That was average for everybody. Those that are in the NBA, those are average. They're great basketball players in their own right, but to be the greatest of the great, you've got to go beyond what everybody else is doing. His work ethic was insane. You hear me? Insane. But he understood what it was going to take to be great. And he was, not only he knew what it was going to take, he was willing to do and sacrifice what it was going to take. In order to get there. I'm talking family. I'm talking friends. I could not stand Kobe Bryant. When he was a basketball player, I thought he was selfish. I thought he was narcissistic.
Oh, with the ball.
I thought he was stuck on himself. But when I started to listen to him, when he started doing interviews after he had retired, I'm like, this dude was on another level when it came to thinking and what he had to do. So we got to understand, if you want to be great, those that say that they want to be great, they want to do great things, understand what it takes.
Yeah.
Every Fortune 500 company started off as a small business. But in order to get there, they had those that created those Fortune 500 companies understood and had to understand what it was going to take to get them into that Fortune 500 status.
Yeah.
And not everybody is willing to do that kind of work.
But when you're just saying that, I'm thinking back to Steve Harvey. People, there's a lot of people that, wait a minute, let me just finish my sentence.
Okay.
But when I'm thinking about Steve Harvey, and it's so interesting because I've heard people say, he ain't that talented, he ain't that this, he ain't that. But it was a point where he had 5 shows on TV. So when you're talking about God's grace and favor in your mindset, it doesn't even matter if you're the most talented in the room, if you're the most this in the room, if you're the most that work ethic is powerful. And if you decide that you want to manifest it, proclaim it, pray for it, want it, change your mindset, change the way you think, in 2023, you can have whatever you want to have if you have that right mindset. What were you going to say, Michael?
Well, what I wanted to say and piggyback on what Dr. Leroy was talking about, when you enter the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, you got to be able to take a hit and give one back. When I'm in the schools talking about entrepreneurship to young adults or young adults who are getting ready to graduate, I tell them this lifestyle may not be for everybody. And like you said, it comes with a lot of sacrifice. And guess what? You're going to take a lot of losses too. But you have to understand the one thing, and we already kind of harped on that. Failure does lead to success, and I can pretty much vouch for that my own way, So again, if you like you say, if you're going to step out here, you gotta be strong mentally, and you got to understand what you're doing is bigger than you, and a lot of people may not get it, and that's where your mental has to kick in. You got to love yourself every morning. You got to pray and just keep striving because the goal and the picture is bigger than you.
Yeah. And this is even if you're not trying, because everybody out there listening is not an entrepreneur. That's not their dream in 2023. That's not their goal to be the best or to be the superstar, to be the business owner, to be the basketball player. Some people honestly just want a better year in 2023 than they had in 2022. Some people want simpler things in life. Some people just want peace. They just want silence. They just want, to pray or worship. They just want to have a family. They want to get married. They want to get divorced. They want to be free. Exactly. So I want you to focus on that, Ahisha.
I know for my 3 things out of the 300, what I know for me, I do the traveling. I think for me, I have to have a better balance of a home life. Business keeps me on the go. And now that, I'm getting a little bit of notoriety, I'm always doing a podcast or a magazine. So when I get off work, I shoot over to do that. Number one is to get a better balance of a home life for me. Number 2 would be to make the transition this year from an entrepreneur to a boss. And what I mean by that, it's time for more trucks. It's time for employees. It's time for a warehouse.
No, I get that. I get that, Michael. I get that, but I don't want this to be about business and what you're trying to do on your business. This is not that show. You know what I mean? I get that, and those are part of your goals and all of that. We'll do that definitely on a different show. But I want this more on a humble level, on not saying that you're not being humble, but what you want for your life and for yourself. You get what I'm saying? To be better. This is a life podcast. So I wanted to, what is going to help heal you? What is going to help make you better? Now, when you talked about life balance, life work balance, we can talk more about that. You get what I'm saying? That's what I want to talk about here. It's not so much of promote, and it's no diss to you, but not to promote, but to really promote human beings and what you want to be. And I know Ahisha was trying to talk about freedom. Can you go more into that, Ahisha?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things, when I first did an interview with you, we talked about joy a lot, right? And where I was at that time of my life was trying to find that joy.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a place in 2023, coming up on 3 years later, of really understanding what it means to be free. So even with your businesses and your personal life and your family and yourself, all of it is really about being free.
Yeah.
It's about the freedom to fail, the freedom to prosper, the freedom to learn more about yourself, the freedom to let other people be who they are without any instruction or expectations from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing because you get to really know people that way. You get to really see how they shine when they get to do things the way they want to, and they get to be free to be themselves.
Yeah.
To love the way they want to love and think and talk. That's how you really get that balance, by being free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free from fear, free from doubt.
Yeah.
Free from anxiety.
Yeah. And it's hard to have that work-life balance. It's difficult, and I want to hear, like, towards the end of the show, we'll talk about that.
Something. Can I tell you one of these?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to tell Michael we're going to talk about what we want in our businesses, maybe towards the end. So we're going to work towards that. So Michael can definitely talk about that. But go ahead, Chantel.
Ahisha, I like that you just brought that up when you said free from anxiety. That is a major issue for me, and I'm happy you brought it up because I had a conversation with my girlfriend New Year's Eve. The ball was dropping, and she was like, "Girlfriend, I love you, even though your anxiety is through the roof." And I felt I have real bad ADHD. I'm telling you, I really do. It's times where I can't even go. I don't like going to the market. I don't like going to the mall. It drives me insane. So actually, I want to add that to my list of free from anxiety.
I put that on my list. Did you hear, Chantel? Did you hear my list? That was on my list. That was one of my I will. Yeah. Yep, that was one of my mine. Yeah, that when I had
major anxiety.
Yeah, when I wrote my list. It's so important. I've done a whole episode on anxiety. You definitely got to check that out because as a life coach and what I've seen and what I've experienced, it's through the roof with people with anxiety. It's off the chain. It's one of the.
It's a lot of like entrepreneurs. If we're not talking about that, but
no,
a lot of entrepreneurs we have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm gonna say this in a weird way. So I was blessed as a mother to have a child who suffers from anxiety, and I say it that way as blessed because I believe that everything that comes in your life comes to teach you something, right? It doesn't come to hurt you, destroy you, kill you. So I say blessed, right?
Amen.
But that anxiety, you would be amazed at how it can control and stop you in your track. And that's why being free is so important and changing the narrative of how you speak about yourself. I said to my daughter one time when she said, "Mom, you speak like anxiety isn't real." And I said, everything is real if you believe it, but you don't have to believe it for yourself. Everything is real if you believe it to be real.
Yeah,
like that.
But
that freedom comes from that freedom of your mind to be free of the things that have been holding you back too, whether it's actually holding you back or you just believe it's holding you back. Technically, it's holding you back.
But like Michael was talking about earlier, the Calm app, I use a different app. And then also as a certified meditation practitioner, people don't understand that breathing, intentional breathing will take away the stress and the anxiety. Something simple as that. Listening, like Michael, you were talking about it earlier. Raindrops. He said 30 minutes to rest. I want you to talk more about that because I listen to that every single night. I listen to a different app. I listen to a different app with rain. I listen to the Soothing Pod. That's mine. Calm, I used to have, but the Soothing Pod. It's so important to be able to rest. People don't understand. That was my word for 2022. And in a minute after Michael goes, I want to ask you what's your word for 2023. But my word for 2022 was rest. And people underestimate rest. When you're rested, your mind is clearer. You can breathe easier. You can handle situations, easier. You can use emotional intelligence. When you rest, you can think right in your right mind. You know what I mean? And people don't understand, and they underestimate rest. All right, Michael, what were you going to say, hon?
No, with the Calm app, the reason I installed that, with having 180 accounts, if not more at this point, I may get a call where I could be working on North Avenue, but then get to shoot up to Aberdeen. And then from Aberdeen,
he's talking about Baltimore, guys, because everybody's not local.
Correct.
Yeah, he's talking about in Baltimore. Yep.
So I may get 5 emergency calls in one day, and before you know it, you're racing against the clock, and now it's like, oh, man, how am I going to get all this done? So while I'm driving, I definitely put that app on to, like, okay, just like you said, the breathing is important. Taking it one step at a time is important.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way your mind can relax and say, you know what? I can handle this now.
Mm-hmm.
I was built for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Can I chime in something, too?
Sure.
Seeking immediate help is important, too. And so let me explain what I mean when I say seeking immediate help. Like, sometimes some of us might be seeing a therapist, right? But you can't pick up your phone and call your therapist whenever you feel like it, right? You got to schedule that, right? When I'm going through things, instead of letting it grow into something that I can't handle, I will immediately go to one of my teachings, one of my meditations, a book that I might be reading. I will immediately seek help instead of wallowing in whatever is not feeling right to me. Even if I don't know what it is, I will seek out what it is. Like, why am I feeling anxious? And why am I this? And instead of saying, I'm anxious and I'm going to just let it go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I will immediately seek help with whatever I'm feeling that does not rest well with me at that moment before it gets out of control and I'm behaving in a way I'm not happy with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I have
that behavior. I didn't go somewhere I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Or I yelled at somebody I didn't want to yell at. Whatever the behavior is, if I'm not happy with it, I try. That's the growth. That's where you realize you haven't arrived in everything in this life. You're always learning.
Yep.
But the growth is I'm not doing the same thing I was doing last year. That's the growth.
Come on. And that's
when the joy comes in.
Come on.
Of what I've been through wasn't for nothing.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And that's part of some parts where my book, Your Unhealed, is showing. It's certain people's when you don't have enough rest, or when you haven't addressed certain things, or you let it get the best of you, that's when that unhealed is showing. I have clients I have one now that I gave her permission to text me when she's going through it, so I can help her with certain techniques so she can calm that anxiety. So she is able to text me, at any time. She's been my client for a couple of years. And I think it's so important to be able to address it immediately. Leroy, when I'm thinking about, as Michael talked about business, as Chantel talked about business, and you in business as well. And I'm thinking about cups being full and not having enough to pour out or to keep for yourself. So Leroy, in business and chaos and all of that in 2023, how are you going to keep some things for yourself and not pour everything out of your cup?
Well, here's the thing, and I talked about it today, and it was actually my morning motivation, and it's what I call your circle of impact. Who's in your circle, and those individuals that pour into you and that you pour into. It should not be a one-way thing where you're always pouring into them or they're always pouring into you. And I call it the pitcher in the glass. It's where you know how you go to a restaurant and you sit at a table and there's a place setting at each table and there's a glass at each table, and they'll bring you out a pitcher of water, lemonade, tea, whatever, soda, whatever it is that they bring out. Now the pitcher that they bring out is used to pour into the glasses that are there. Sometimes we are the pitcher where we have to pour into people. Those people that are around us, we have to be able to pour into them because they are in need of it. Sometimes we have to be the glass where we get poured into. And we have to understand how and when we are to be each of those. And you should have people around you that understand that very thing as well. Because if you find yourself always being the picture will get empty.
Ooh.
It's like going to the ATM machine. If you go to the ATM machine and you ain't putting no money in there, the ATM machine is going to be like, hey, I can't do nothing for you, man. It will tell you you can't do it. So we have to be the same way with our mental.
Yep.
We got to be the same way with how we approach what we do in life, and that's in our personal lives and in our professional lives. We don't want to be in our personal lives and allowing those that are in our space to be able to just pour from us, to just take from us. We have to be able to, and I forgot which one said it, but to say no. There's sometimes we just like, I can't, I'm sorry.
Chantel.
I cannot do it. And that's in business and in personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes some things you just have to say no.
And you don't need to give an explanation. You don't need, no is a complete sentence in a statement. You don't owe anybody an explanation for your boundaries.
Yeah. And when you do that, I think if you hold that idea going into 2023 and you understand about who's in your circle, how to pour into them, and then how to have them pour into you, you'll find yourself being better this year than you were in 2022.
You love it.
I get the mic.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Thank you for shining with me, Kendéll Lenice. If you're here for the very first time, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show and don't forget to tell your friends and family about Shine. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. That's so good. If you're just tuning in for the first time and you're catching it mid-show, definitely go back and listen because we are live right now, and then you'll be able to go back for the replay. Leroy, that analogy with the pitcher and glasses, that's bravo. That was a perfect example. And I know everybody listening was able to, they were thinking about that carafe with that water in it and the glasses and how you pour. And then because once you pour it out for everybody, say for instance, you got 5 glasses on the table and the 5th one is yours. Once you pour out, you might just fill up the 4 glasses and then you're left with an empty glass. You didn't even give yourself, and people don't understand it's not selfish to pour your glass first. Now, I took etiquette classes. My mom taught them when I was young, and it was always about serve others first. When you're at a table and you're fixing dinner and you're eating and you're drinking, serve other people first. But in this case, I want to kind of cross that out and scratch it out. Pour your glass first. Because if you cannot quench your own thirst and if you're not taking care of you, then everybody around the table is not going to matter because you're not going to have anything to give. And we need to change that going forward. Michael, so what will you do for yourself in 2023 that you might not have mastered in 2022?
The main goal would be to balance my home life a little bit better. To be able to tuck my daughter in at night as opposed to working those longer hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I'm able to take her to school in the morning and pray with her and have breakfast, but to tuck her in at night would be very, very helpful to me. And for her not, because she's getting older now at 4. And, you know, she knows why I'm working, but, you know, I think for me to be able to give her that nightly bath and tuck her in at night would be so much more of a balance. And I probably would be even more successful in what I do in business, too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, having an even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you cannot be great at one thing and then lack in the other. So me putting together a foundation and getting some structure would definitely help me a lot.
I love that. So what would be the first thing that you would do to change it from last year to this year on tucking your daughter in? What would be one thing that you could do differently?
Well, I could probably start my mornings a little bit earlier, maybe cut that morning work up. Instead of getting that morning workout in, you know, head off straight to work, you know. That'll save me some time and probably get home about maybe 6 o'clock probably in time for dinner and everything else,
Love that.
That'd be very helpful.
I love that.
Michael, do you think you can, this is Chantel, do you think, what I see, what I was having that problem too, with, I take my kids to school, but I pick my kids up too, and then my kids go to work with me. The problem is like you said you had to work on trust with people. You need a team. That will eliminate a lot of that. So it's some days I don't go in, where I say I just want to be with my kids today. So there is an option to go in when I built a team and I started to trust people a lot more, because honestly I wanted to be a lot present with my kids, because like you said, they grow up and you can't get those times back. When I can create a system where I can get a team. I can't make $1 million on my own. I can't make $100,000 on my own. A solid $100. A solid $100,000. The first 1,000 is made by yourself, but that first 100,000 is made with a team. So it worked for me. I know building a team where I could see my kids a lot more.
Yeah, but I love that.
I'm working on that.
I love that.
Definitely working on that.
I love that. But I love, and that's why I wanted to ask Michael, like, one thing, because I want the audience to understand and to know that you don't have to take the whole feat and look at it like, oh my God, I haven't done this. What I need to do this. Da, 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 da. Sometimes it takes that one thing to really express out loud. Like he said, I can go to the gym. I can cut out that part so I can get back home earlier. I can get home at 6, and then that way I can do that. So I want everybody to understand that small changes and sacrifices and transformation can give you what you want in this upcoming year. It's so important. So don't look at it as a big pizza. Look at it as one little bite, then the next little bite, to be able to make those changes. I think that was awesome. And then Chantel, you giving him, because he hasn't had his business for 15 years. You have. So you have come up with a system, you know what I mean? And you were able to do that. So then with him, he probably will be there. And then, so I love that insight that you gave him even moving forward. And I love that he said he's working on that. That's awesome. So, Ahisha, how will you pour into yourself a little more and keep some stuff for yourself in 2023?
So one of the ways, and I'm going to give you guys a quick history, right? And everything that I've ever done, my every job, starting as a child, I was the oldest sibling, right? I was the oldest sibling in a single mother home. Mm-hmm. Every job I had, I was some type of boss or manager or supervisor in some capacity. And when that happens, and then in my later life, I was an event coordinator and ran a catering business, right? So in some capacity in my life, I've always had to be in control. In my personal life, that doesn't always work the same. You can't always be the manager, the supervisor, in control. And so I am learning to allow others to pour into me with their gifts. I don't have to be in control of everything. So last weekend, I invited 17 of my family members to come, and that's a lot. It's a lot of people to take care of. And I realized that in my process of taking care of them, I had to allow others to take care of me. Or that weekend would have been a bust. I had to let the natural gifts in people step up without me saying anything.
I love that.
For example, when you got 17 people and you cook, the kitchen is a wreck. I had to trust that my sisters, who are neat freaks, were going to automatically start cleaning. I didn't stress about it. I didn't go around and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? I allowed people to step up to the plate for themselves, and people took care of me.
I love that.
In their natural gifts. And that's what I'm working on more. But just allowing things to flow, trusting the universe to put things into place that I need for success in anything that I do. And that's what I would say to you, Mike, about your little girl. And about what Chantel said about the team. Trusting the universe to put the people in place. So that you can achieve or have the desires that you want. You cannot do it all yourself.
And I was just getting ready to tie that in. So thank you so much for that, Ahisha. Thank you, Chantel, and thank you for Michael for that. Because see that trilogy, and that's what it really is about. Michael said, hey, I need to do this. Chantel said, hey, this is how I do it. Ahisha said, this is what it is. And that's really what it is. That's a village. And even Chantel, you said you can't even make the 100,000 by yourself. You can make the first 1,000, but then the 100,000. And people don't understand, and I want people to really catch that. Leroy always talks about, we always laugh about networking and, your network is your net worth and having people in your corner. He talked about that also. Like, we cannot be without others, and people don't understand that and realize you don't have to do everything. You don't have to have all the titles. You don't have to have all the accolades. You don't have to have it's okay to be able to delegate. You don't have to speak sometimes what's already known. You already know you're capable. You already know you can do it. You already know that you can do it. You already know. You know what I mean? So you have to allow people, as Ahisha said, to walk in their purpose and gifts, because that's how we're going to elevate and be better people. This podcast is about pushing the needle forward to be able to give people whatever they need to help and to carry them through whatever they're going to deal with in 2023. What were you saying, Ahisha?
I was going to say, too, you don't have to trust everybody. You just have to trust your higher source.
The right bodies.
And yourself.
And right.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, then the right people will be attracted into your world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you found them, they'll be drawn to you when you get in alignment with yourself. When you're at peace with yourself, when you're not fearful of your own choices and things like that.
Yeah. What were you saying, Leroy?
Here's the thing, Kendéll, about that, and I hate to keep using the sports analogy, but Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant learned this. They had to learn this, especially Michael Jordan. Before he could win, he had been in the league 7 years, and he was the leading scorer in the league and was doing all kinds of things. Dropped 63 on the Boston Celtics. But you know what happened? They lost. Mm-hmm. He dropped 63 and they lost. And he didn't understand about trusted winning and how to win, but how to trust others until, and he talks about it, Phil Jackson started to explain to him, Michael, you are who you are. You're great. But you have to allow the people around you to do what they
Somebody
do.
Needs to put their phone, if they can put their phone on mute. It's a lot of background noise someone has.
Yeah.
If you can put your phone on mute, please. Thank you.
But I don't know, and he finally, I think when he finally got it, when Scottie Pippen was there, and that's when he started to trust Scottie Pippen. He started to trust Paxson. He started to trust Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
He started to trust those other people around him to be who they were, and he elevated their play.
Right.
By allowing them to be able to do what they were good at. Like you were saying, Paxson and Kerr could shoot the 3-pointer. Mm-hmm. So what he had to do, sometimes he had to kick it out to them so that they could score.
Because we're not an island.
And understanding that. So when we understand that from an entrepreneurship perspective, and we allow people around us, then we vet it.
Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. If you guys can, somebody's on the microwave. If you could please put your phone on mute. I really appreciate that, because it's very distracting to Leroy's point. Somebody is put stuff in the microwave, Lord.
I know, right?
Oh my God, on a live podcast. Okay, go ahead.
But when we allow those that are around us to do what they are good at, then it takes some of the pressure off of us who are entrepreneurs, where you don't have to work in your business. You can work on your business. You can do those things that will allow your business to be able to move to that next level.
Yeah.
As opposed to that everyday grind.
Yeah.
And every day having to work in your business. and doing those things. So I'll yield the mic there.
I love that. And as we come to a close, and thank you, and that's so true, when you think about, like, if you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, who wasn't, that's a whole thing that people talk about. Was he the best? Was he not the best? Was he, we're not going to get into that sports conversation here because I know a lot of people want to chime in on that. But we have to understand that we are not islands. We are not islands. And if you understand that we all need one another in some capacity. And when you allow people to show up as they are to be able to pour into you, allow them to do that because you're going to do the same. And that's really the circle of life. And we can get a lot further with help and with other people than we can ourselves. And I know people think that they can't, they could do everything on their own and all of that. I get it, but it is better together. I want to ask quickly, everybody, I'll start with you, Chantel. What will be your word for 2023? What is your word? One word, and we're going to do it quick, just like that.
I don't know, one word. To get people through this year?
No, for you. One word that you're going to folk, like Ahisha said, free was her word last year. Rest was my word last year. What is your word for this year? I'll go to Ahisha. Ahisha, what's your word for this year?
Ahisha.
My word for this year is free.
Okay.
Free in 2022. That is my word for this year, just to be free.
Michael, what's your word?
Let me say mine. I want to be more spiritual.
Spiritual is your word for this year? Okay. Michael, what's your word?
Yeah.
To breathe.
Breathing. I love that. What's your word for this year, Leroy?
It's actually value, creating value.
I love that. I love that. So I want to ask you all, what is your ing for this year? So we have, the show's title is Praying, Proclaiming, Professing, Expecting. What is your ing for this year?
Believing.
Believing. Yes. Next person.
None of it works without believing. You can pray, you can do all the things you want. If you don't believe it, it won't happen.
Yep.
Believe it. All of it. You got to believe it.
What's your ing, Michael?
I gotta go with believing. Got to.
Okay. And what's your word for this year?
Not sure on that one.
Okay, that's all right. But that's all right. You got to pray on that because I'm going back and forth myself, Michael, with two words. Last year was clear. God gave it to me, rest. And I'll have my word for this year by this week because that's what I'm meditating on.
You know what? I tell you, I think my word for this year would be guidance. Guidance, yeah.
I love that. What's your ing, Chantel? Leroy, what's your ing?
My aim for this for this year, I don't know if it doesn't have an ing to it. Or I'll put it this way. I'll use this word: pursuing.
Pursuing. I love that.
Pursuing.
I like that.
I love that. I love that. All right.
I feel like my ing is. It's definitely believing. It's elevating, but I can't elevate without believing. So believing and elevating.
I love that. And mine.
It's funny that all my businesses, two of my businesses are called elevate.
Somebody has to mute their phone. And I think my ing this year is praying. It's so important for me to do that before anything and to really praying. So we're going to come back with everybody's wow moment in this week's takeaways. This week's wow moment. Takeaways from today's show. All right, everybody. So I apologize for the background noise, guys. But, okay. So this week's takeaway and wow moment. Everybody just give their takeaway from this episode. Ahisha, I'll start with you.
Well, I got two things. One is, Chantel, I'll be calling you. I want to be one of your 60.
No, I'm 61.
I got you, sis.
I'm
that's
60.
It. That's my first takeaway. I want to be one of the 60. I'm ready.
Right.
But my takeaway, and just listening to everybody, is really boils back down to that believing and trusting and doing whatever it takes to get whatever you want. That's my takeaway. Just go after your dreams, go after your goals, your life, whatever it is, and have fun doing it.
All right. Chantel, from this episode, what is your takeaway and your wow moment?
My takeaway is freedom. I stood on this like my whole entire life, but I really want to actually embrace it. So being just free of anything that's holding me back, as far as my anxiety, as far as lack of trust, or even trusting too much, giving people, what Ahisha said, just giving people access to you too early, and giving them basically a title before they're deserving of that title. So freedom to just do that.
Love that. Leroy? What's your wow moment or your takeaway from this episode?
Yeah, what I pulled away from here, and I hope everybody gets this, and I think everybody here on this panel, Kendéll, has a personal fulfillment strategy, and you can see from the conversation that we've had how everybody wants to be fulfilled this year, and creating what I said earlier about creating their value and understanding the value that they're creating and the purposes that each of us have. So that's what I pulled away from today.
I love that. Michael, what's your wow moment and your takeaway from today? Michael, are you there? All right. I'm not sure if we lost.
I think you lost him.
Okay.
I think you lost him.
And I want to I want everybody just to get the opportunity to definitely. No, we couldn't hear you.
Okay,
and this is live, y'all. So everybody, if you're just tuning in for the first time, I apologize for the background noise. I hope you really, looked past that and really heard what my guests were talking about, because they said some powerful things. So I apologize. This is live. I apologize for all the background noises and all of that. Please forgive us, but just take the meat of what everyone was saying, because the conversation was extremely rich. Yes, Michael, what is your takeaway and your wow moment for the episode?
The takeaway today has been a blessing for me. Just to soak up all the knowledge that you all have given me, and listening to everybody talk. I'm walking away today feeling enlightened, enriched, and powerful, all in my mind.
I love that. And definitely, I said I was going, I'm not going to have you on and not promote your business, everybody. So definitely, I'll start with you, Michael. Promote your business quickly if you can, and tell the people how they can get in contact with you.
Yes. My corporation is Madison Snacks. Our brand is Marlowe Candy and Nut Company. You can find us in Save-A-Lot, Harvest Fair, in every mom and pop store, every location from all angles and areas of Baltimore. One way to contact me is through Facebook, and reach out to me and tell me what you need, and I can fulfill that.
All right, the candy man, the candy snack man. You probably are. People probably love you. Love to see you coming.
Yeah, they do.
Mike got them snacks, y'all. He got them snacks. All right, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., my brother. Tell the people, because my guests, my audience already knows who you are 1,000,000 times over. You on all my platforms, so reintroduce yourself.
Well, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., and I can be connected. You can connect with me through my link tree, which is probably the best way. That way you can see everything, and that's http://link linktr.ee/JNF. That's Jesus Never Fails. JNF Enterprises. And to go there, and you'll be able to see all of the other platforms that I have, the YouTube, Facebook, even my website as well, too. I do business consulting in addition to book publishing consulting, so you can connect with me in either of those, and we'll do some marketing, and we'll do some branding, and take you and your business and your brand, bring that vision to reality in 2023.
And I pray over everybody's brand, everybody's business, everybody's success, on this panel and outwardly. If you have a business, if you have a goal, if you don't have a business, if you're an employee, celebrate that. Be the best employee you can be. Be the best entrepreneur you can be. And I pray for success for everybody. And I want to talk to Chantel as well to give her blessing. Just making sure. I apologize, everybody. I'm not sure what's going on with my guest, but that's all right. And I pray that everybody, there you guys are. Please announce. All right. Sorry about that. And Chantel, and I just pray that everybody's business is successful this year because it's so important. Chantel, tell the people how they can get in contact with you.
All right, I'm Chantel Price. You can get contact with me at chantelprice.com. I'm a business strategist, meaning you can come to me with your idea, and I'll take it from 1 to 10. You can come to me if your business is already in existence and it needs to be fixed, or like a business doctor. That's what I do. Also, it's tax season. I am an accountant, so if you need assistance with your taxes, your bookkeeping, your payroll for your companies, you can hit me up at chantelprice.com.
All right.
ChantelPrice.com.
And tell the how the people they can get in contact with you. How can they get in contact with you on social media?
Social media, you can contact me at chantelprice_the boss.
The boss. All right, Ahisha, if you guys could please, y'all gonna drive me crazy. My first show of my 9th season, all that background noise. I'm gonna get y'all. When they hear it back, they're gonna be like, oh shoot, that was me on the microwave. Oh shoot, that was me walking outside slamming the car door. That was me. Let us pray. Ahisha, how can the people get in contact with you?
You can contact me on IG or Facebook at The Joy Inspirer.
Yes.
I'm an entrepreneur, but what I'm mostly known for on social media is when you need that pickup, when you need to get out of your head, when you need that joy, when you need to be inspired. And I know that sounds like a funny thing, but when I say when you need to be inspired, you can sit with me for 30 minutes. I'll give you $1 million business in your head. I will inspire you. Mm-hmm. It's the craziest thing. That's what I do.
And that's what it's about.
Inspires life.
It sure does. It sure does. It sure does. And for those that don't know, me and Ahisha are Jersey girls. I met Ahisha, I don't even know. I was trying to think the other day, maybe 30-something years ago. We're going to go with that.
Yeah,
It's been a long time, but, I'm very thankful and grateful for all of you taking the time, and this was the first episode of season 9. So normally my shows are a little shorter, But I wanted to make sure everyone got an opportunity to speak. Is there anything left unsaid as we end that you want to add, that you want to share and encourage someone for an amazing 2023? Because I believe in speaking things in existence. So anybody want to share something quickly as we roll out?
I do. I want to say something really quickly concerning praying or asking, whichever one you call it, about faith. When you guys pray, when you ask one time. Because when you ask several times, you say you didn't hear me the first time.
Woo, yep, come on.
That I was heard the first time. Woo! So when you pray and you ask one time,
Woo!
and then you praise and be thankful
Woo!
every other time.
Come on.
You repeat your prayer. You said, I did not believe that I was heard the first time I said it.
Well,
that's my
let me tell you something, baby girl. That's a word. That's a word right there. God's ears are better than ours. Like if somebody, your ears ain't that good and they need to be clean. God is not. He's different. He's not us. He heard you.
He heard you.
He heard you.
You say it out loud for yourself.
Yep. Anybody else want to give a word to inspire someone this year?
I just want to say, this is Chantel. You probably going through something. You probably having some doubts. Drop those doubts. Drop everything that you're doing and just focus on some self-love.
That's good. Leroy or Michael, you want to share anything as we close?
Yeah, to everybody out there listening, go be great. Eliminate fear and install faith, trust, and, just keep believing every day and it'll come. Trust the process. To sum it all up, trust the process and you'll be fine.
I love it. And Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr.
Well,
my mellow, my man.
My mantra for this year is unlock limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So unlock the limitations that you have on yourself and that you've placed on yourself, and go into 2023 knowing that pursuing your value, you unlock any of those limitations that you place on, that you may pursue, that you may place on yourself.
I love that. And everybody, I just want to encourage you to release whatever was ailing you in 2022. I want you to release that. And I want you to truly embrace everything that 2023 has to offer you. It's so important that you're open to what God has for you. Yeah, I know you have your plans. I know that you're doing your work, but I want you to be open, because what God has for you is probably so much better than you can ever imagine for yourself. I want you to practice kindness, not only to other people, but most importantly to yourself. I want you to practice forgiveness. Forgiveness, we all know, is for you and not the other person. I want you to know that you are amazing, that you are dope, that you are fantastic, that you can do anything that you want to do, that you set your mind to. I want you to remove the dream killers from your life. I want you to focus on all of the positive, amazing things that you are and you can do. I want you to celebrate and own your flaws. I want you to work towards being greater and better. I want you to be everybody and everything that you want it to be. When you're looking on social media and you see everybody doing this, if I only could, I wish I could. You can. You just have to believe in yourself. Anything out there that you want, you can have. You can pray for it. You can manifest it. You can do the work to get that. Everyone else, they're not different than you. You can have anything that you want this year, but you have to believe without a shadow of a doubt that anything that you desire, you can have. Speak positivity over your life. Speak kindness. Be gentle with yourself. Be honest, transparent, authentic with who you are, and let the real you shine through this year in 2023. I pray everyone has a prosperous, happy, whole, healthy life in 2023. Everybody, I thank you guys for joining me today on Shine with Kendéll Lenice.
It was wonderful. Thank you for inviting us.
It was wonderful. Thank you for having us.
And
congrats on 9 seasons.
Thank you.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And on your new book.
Thank you. Hey now. I appreciate you. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Shine with Kendéll Lenice. If this is your first time listening, I hope you enjoyed. Please follow the podcast, subscribe where you can, leave a comment, share it, and have a happy, happy, happy New Year. It's 2023, y'all. Woo! We made it. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank y'all. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dr. Leroy. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you, Ahisha. Thank you so much. It takes a village.
Chantel and I are already talking.
All right. All right.
We're already on Instagram talking.
Okay. All right. I love it. It's all about connection. It's all about, helping each other. Like we just said, that's a prime example. We said it takes a village. So I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. Peace. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at Kendéll Lenice. And also go on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Again, thank you so much for your support. God bless y'all. Peace. Remember, you are a star, so don't allow anyone to dim your shine. I hope you have a happy, happy, happy New Year. God bless y'all. Peace. Thanks for listening. This has been a Kenny Lynn production.